Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys doing today? How's everyone? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas with this inspirational morning talk. For first time listeners, I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:45 a.m. Central Time. I just give you something a little inspirational to start out the day, to keep on your mind during the day, because we're going to go through so much negativity during the day. You just want something positive to keep on your mind to combat all the negativity, right? So that's my goal. That's what I do. And we're going to learn something in the process. So just remember, everything is on YouTube there. You can go on there and find out everything that I talk about for the last 2 years. It's a lot of stuff on there. You must find something that could, benefit you on there. So today we want to continue talking about the end of the year fast and, encouraging people to fast at the end of the year to get, the things that you want to get done, right? But today I got a question. My question is, and this guy, first of all, let me say, this guy Kevin Ewing that I listened to out to the Bahamas there, he is phenomenal. He's phenomenal. I got this doing this end of year fast from him, from his teachings, and I did it for the last, I guess, 4 years now. Probably was doing it, and it makes so much a difference in my life. So if it makes a difference in my life, I want to share that with people. So he's the one, his teachings I did this from, and I see the results. So I said, it's something I need to cooperate and tell people about, and tell people about, so I could, help some more people. Like he helped me to bring about changes in my life, and he does it every year too to encourage people to do their end of year fast. So he did one recently. He is on his series also. And the last one he did was answering this question: why isn't my fast working? I would have get to it, later down in my series, but I was so happy about what he did. It was so excited about it. I said I'll bring it forward, and I do it today, and bring some of the things that he talked about because he did such a good job of laying it out. God bless him, man. He's doing great work. So I would use part of what he did in his last one and bring it out to us and answer the question for my audience: why isn't my fast working? Anyone that can go and listen, he does deep in-depth teaching into these things. He did this one. I took a little part of it. It's about 2 hours or something, but he go in depth. So if you want that fully and go deeper into it, I'd urge you to listen to him, and you'll get a lot more, deeper revelations from it. But for my purpose, why I do in the mornings, I try to condense it. I try to get you the meat of it in a much shorter time frame. So with that said, let's jump into it. Let's jump into it, man. So why isn't my fast working? Why isn't my fast working? Gregory, I see people fast for 1 day, 2 days, 12 hours, and they get the results. And I go on for 7 days. I go on, and my fast is not working. I'm not seeing no results, right? So some of the things what could prevent that. First of all, you have to have a clean heart. Your heart got to be clean when you're going on a fast, right? Big thing that's going to prevent that is unforgiveness, because we can take that on by itself. Unforgiveness, we can take down by itself, and why fast not going to work, because God said He's not going to hear you if you don't forgive a man. I forgive you. You don't want to forgive people. I'm not going to hear you if you don't forgive people. Number one, right? I can tackle down by itself. But today, what I want to look at is praying God's will. Praying God's will, right? Because you going to God and asking Him for things that are not in His will, He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. Just imagine you got your children, right? And how much times the people who got children are grown now or still raising kids right now? Some of the things they want to do, and use an adult, use a parent, know what is going to be the results or the outcome if to do certain things. So when they ask you to do certain things, you say no, you can't do it. Oh, and they hate you, right? They're upset with you, they're mad with you, you're the worst person in the world, you don't want me to have fun, and you watching them saying, child, you just don't know. You just don't know what you're asking for. You don't know the party where you're going to. You don't know the people you're hanging out with. You don't know what's going on so I am the adult, I got to protect you. And lots of time, some of them, when they get older, they thank you for it. I see Bernie Mac, the famous comedian that died, years ago, he just before he died, his daughter and him would stop talking for years because he was kind of strict on her, preventing her from doing certain things that she can't see the danger. And she was mad at him. She didn't speak for him in years. I guess, I don't know if it's 7, 8, 7, somewhere between 7 to 10 years. Don't quote me on it. But one day, I think when she was way up in her 20s, she had kids now, and she'd come to the Oprah show. They both come to the Oprah show, and she'd want to apologize to him because she now see, now that she get her kids, now she see what he was trying to do and to protect her. And if she had done some of the things that she wanted to do, her life may not be the same. And she just wanted to thank him for doing what he did. Oh man, he cried because for a while he was thinking that I did the wrong thing, that I made a mistake, that I was like too hard on her. And they both cried and hugged and make up. So that's just like what God's saying. You don't pray stuff that's not in his will. He's not going to approve it. He's not going to prove it. Let's look at some scriptures that's saying that, and then we can discuss. He said Proverbs 14:12. Proverbs 14:12 saying, there is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death. So there's a way to us that we want to marry this person. We're praying for a husband or a wife, and we see someone and we saying, God, I want to pray that this person be my husband or this person be my wife. Man, he's so handsome, he got a good job, he got a good money, he got his own things, and I want God. So you going to God, or vice versa. Man, this woman, she looks so fine, she nicely shaped, she's so pretty, so all of this stuff and all of this superficial stuff you're looking at, and you want this, praying to God and going to fast, so get this person to be a wife, or you want this particular job, or you're going to praying, or you want this house, or all this stuff that you want. And God's saying, there's a way that seems right to you, buddy. This way seems right to you, but it can end in death. And some stuff said death and destruction. Let's look at the next one. Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that will prevail. So we got a lot of plans. We got a lot of things we want to do. But in the end, he's saying his purpose is what's going to prevail. His purpose will going to prevail, right? Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. So you see, he know the plans he already have for us. He know the plans. He said it's not to harm us. It's to give us a hope and a future and expected end. He knows the plans he have for us already. Let's look at one more then. He said in John 5:14, this is what John said. This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. If we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. Good morning, Jillian. Good morning. He said if you ask anything according to his will, he hears us. So that's why when we pray and we fasting, we got to ask God, God, I need this house, or I need this job, I need this promotion. But if it's according to your will, if it's the plan, part of the plan that you have for me, God, I ask you to give me the favor and help me to get this job. But if it's not part of your will, doesn't matter how it looked to me, that it looked like it's the right thing for me, or this person is the right thing for me, or this house is the best house for me, or whatever the case may be, God. But if it's not part of your will, your plan, shut it down. Don't let it happen, Father. Don't let it happen. You got to pray that, because he's saying there's a plan that seems right to us. But see, he know. You want to buy a house. This house, the best house, good price and all of that. You don't know what went on in the house. You don't know the previous owners. You don't know what's in the foundation. People buy a house, they hear it's haunted and all of that. You don't know all of those stuff. You see it just look pretty. You want to fast and pray to him to get this stuff. And he's saying, but see, once you're going fast now, and you asking him according to his will, you trust in him. When you fast, you trust in him, right? And sometimes your answer may be no. Just recently, months ago, I really fasted for some stuff, and I was led to go on a 2-day fast. And I said, but it's like the Thursday to Friday, you get an answer by Monday. It's like, okay, I was excited and going. The Monday, the answer was no. The answer was no for the stuff that I was asking for, but I had already known this, so I didn't get upset. I said, God, well, if you close this door, you got a better door open for me. I just want to thank you for shutting that down if that's not part of your will. I didn't get upset because I know this. I know this, right? If it's not part, because I'm praying, God, if this is your will, let it happen. So if it don't happen, I know it's not part of the plan for me. So sometimes you go in and you're praying for certain things, make sure the things that you're praying for, you ask him, because you don't know what you ask him if it's according to his will for your life. And if it's not, and he shut it down, no, that was not a part, and you got to be okay with it. You got to trust him because he knows best. His ways are higher than our ways, right? Just thinking he knows what's around the corner that we don't know, and he gonna protect us from. How much time, or if it ever happened to you, want something like people I see confess, talk about this, or they're gonna miss the flight and all kind of thing, and next thing you know, the plane crash or something like that. This is an extreme case, or something you want something, and then next thing you know, man, I'm glad I didn't get that, or I'm glad I didn't go that way. I'm glad I didn't do this, because he knows what's around the corner that we don't know. And we got to trust him if it's not part, because you might get something. How much time you see people in big jobs and all the committing suicide, doing all of this, because maybe that's not a part of the plan. When you in God's will, you're going to be happy, you're going to be contented. Waking up going to be a joy. You know what I mean? This is like sometimes people is asked, so why are you in the military? Why you want to be in the military, man? The military men want to deploy and go to war, and you're looking like them like they're crazy. Like, are you nuts? You want to go to a war? You in the... That's a part of their plan. So they're happy doing what they're doing. And to you, because it's not part of your plan, it looks like it's a hard thing to you and you can't do it. But they're saying, I'm waking up every day. This is what I look forward to. This is what I look forward to, because it's in their will and their plan for him. They're going to be happy doing what they're doing. It's not going to be scary. It's not going to be a burden. They're going to be happy, right? With that said, so first of all, your heart got to be clean, guys, right? Your heart got to be clean. You're asking for stuff in his will. So let's look quickly here. Let's look quickly at Isaiah 58. Then I want to take a quick story about this. Let's look at Isaiah 58 quickly, right? Isaiah 58, these guys went on a fast, and they're complaining how this fast ain't working. Michelle Blair, good morning, good morning. They're complaining how it's not working, right? So let's see. This is Isaiah 58. I can read a couple of verses. It says, "They shout it loud, do not hold back. Raise your voice like a trumpet. Declare to my people their rebellion." So God telling Isaiah, tell my people this. The fasting down there, tell them. I want you going to tell them this for me, right? That's what God telling Isaiah. Go give them this message for me, right? So declares the Lord. Declares to my people their rebellion, and to the descendants of Jacob their sins, right? For day after day they seek me out. So they're trying to reach God, they're trying to fast to get God's attention. They seems eager to know my ways, right? As if they're a nation that does what is right and has not forsaken the commands of God. The same man, they're fasting, but breaking out my commands. They're trying to play like they want to know my ways, but then doing it right. So here he said, they ask me for just decisions and seem eager for God to come near them. So the fasting and asking for these things and seem eager for God to come, but here why he's not coming. Why have we fasted, they say? So they're complaining. I say, man, we fasting and we ain't getting no results. We fasting and we ain't getting no results. Right? So that's what they're complaining. That's why God sent Isaiah to tell them we got to complain how they're fasting and they're getting no results. So God tell Isaiah, go and tell them this is why they're getting no results, right? So we fasted, they say, and you have not seen it. Why have we humbled ourselves and you have not noticed? So complaining, God, we humbling ourselves, we fasted. You ain't noticing us, you ain't helping us, you ain't answering nothing that we asking you for. So the complaining say, yet on the day of your fasting, you do as you please. So he's saying, you fasting, but you doing as you please on the day that you fasting, right? You do as you please and exploit all your workers. You trying to fast to me and you exploiting your workers. I say you got to have a clean heart. You can't be doing all these wickedness. Then want to come and fast to me for give you more power to do more wickedness, right? You're exploiting your workers. Your fast ends in quarreling and strife. You fast and then you're quarreling and fighting. As soon as you fast end, you and your brothers going back fighting and you're quarreling and all that stuff, right? And striking each other with wicked fists. You're quarreling, fighting, you're striking each other with wicked fists, telling lies and all on each other, and you come to you fasting, right? You cannot fast as you do today. That's what Isaiah, God telling Isaiah, you cannot fast like you do today. That's not a fast what you just did. All you did is just starve yourself. All you did is starve yourself. Your heart is not clean. You're exploiting people. As soon as your fast is over, you're fighting, quarreling, doing all this stuff. So you cannot fast like that. Your heart got to be clean, and you cannot fast like that and expect God to listen to you, right? You cannot fast as you do today and expect your voice to be heard on high. Is this the kind of fast I have chosen? Right, so then he went on to explain to them the type of fast, but I didn't get into that. I left it for next day, how you're fasting, the things you should do. So he's telling them, man, the heart got to be clean, people. You cannot go strifing and warring and got all this stuff on your heart and malice and unforgiveness and all this on your heart, and then you're going to God and you ask him, he said, I'm not going to hear you. This is the heart condition. You got to clean your heart out before I can listen to you, right? You got to clean your heart out. You got to be clean, right? I can't hear you if you're doing all these stuff on the fast. You got to focus on me. You got to clean out yourself. Come and I can listen, right? So let's look quickly here at the guy who fasted for what he wanted, but God said no. God said no. This is 2 Samuel 12. 2 Samuel 12. I'm going to try to condense it quickly. 2 Samuel 12, right? Remember the story of David and Bathsheba, when Bathsheba was Dwayne, good morning, good morning. The story about David and Bathsheba when she was showering on the roof and David saw her, he lust after her, then he sent for her. Long story short, she was a guy named Uriah's wife that was in the army. David, had sexual relations with her. She got pregnant, and then now he want to cover up the sin, so he sent for the guy from the battlefield to come home so the guy could go home and sleep with his wife. So, once he announced the pregnancy, people can say, oh yeah, well, Uriah had come home around this time, Uriah gonna be excited with his child. So David tried to cover the sin, but long story short, the guy said, no man, I can't go home and having sex with my wife and my buddies on the battlefield. That's a dishonor to my to my fellow soldiers. If we in battle, we in battle. We in the trenches together. We in the trenches together. I can't come in home and enjoy myself and know my buddies on the battlefield. No, we don't roll like that, soldiers. That's not how we do it. David, we fighting. When the war is over, we all go home and we all have fun with our wives and our family. But when the war is on, I can't do that. So David is like, wow, this is a good guy here, but so I still got to cover up this sin. So he said, okay, long story short, he tempted drunken the guy out for the guy to go home. The guy said, no, I can't do this. If my soldiers hear me doing this, this is a dishonor to them. Long story short, he sent a letter back with him to the commander. The guy excited, the king, king sent me the letter to the commander concerning me, this is a big deal. Long story short, he sent the letter to the commander to put a guy in the front line of the battlefield and tell the other soldiers to drop back. In a nutshell, he sent the guy to murder the guy pretty much at the hands of the enemy. Put him in the front line, then I tell the other soldiers drop back. So he alone on the front line, get rid of, and die. So God wasn't pleased with that. Then he take the woman and marry her quickly. So cover up the sin. He marry her right away. So, okay, so every, the 9 months fall within the things. Nobody ain't gonna think nothing. So he think he get away with it. Right? But God sent prophet Nathan to him. God sent Nathan, I'm not gonna read it, but Nathan gave him this parable. But this man, Nathan tried to trap him in his own thing. Nathan said, man, they got this man, got this one little sheep, right? And let me read it quickly. Then the Lord sent Nathan to David. When he came to him, he said, there was 2 men in a certain town, and one rich and the other man poor. The rich man had very large number of sheep and cattle, but the poor man had nothing except one little lamb he had bought. He raised it, and he grew it up with him and his children. It shared his food, drank from his cup, and even slept in his arms. It was like a daughter to him, right? Now a traveler came to the rich man, but the rich man refrained from taking one of his own sheep or cattle to prepare a meal for the traveler who had come to him. Instead, he took the lamb that belongs to the poor man and prepared it for the one who had come to him. So he's saying, this man saying, this rich man this poor man had one little lamb. One little lamb this poor man had. And this rich man had flocks and herds of goats, cows, you name it. But a traveler come, he got a guess. Instead, he killed one of his from his flock, from the thousands that he has. He gonna take this the poor man, this one little lamb that this poor man had, who was like a part of his family. He take that and kill it to prepare a meal for his guests, right? So that's the story there. Then he asks him, what should be done to this man? Nathan asks him, what should be done to a man like this? Oh, David burned with anger against the man and said to Nathan, as surely as the Lord lives, the man who did this must die. He must pay for that lamb 4 times over, because he did such a thing and had no pity. So David answering, so here Nathan said, then Nathan said to David, you are that man. You are that man. You are that man. So you call judgment on your own self. You are that man. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, say. I anointed you king over Israel, and I deliver you from the hands of Saul. I give you your master's house. I give your master's house to you and your master's wife. You had all of these women. You were the king, man. You could get any woman you want, but you're going to take this man's wife and then kill him. You could get any women. You had so much of women, so much of wives. Right? Your master's wives into your arms. I give you all Israel and Judah. And if all this had not been, if this had been too little, I would have given you even more. God say, man, if them, all of them things you had, how much women you had, if that was not enough, man, you'd have get more. All the riches, you could have get more if you want, man. But why you gonna mess with this man's wife and then kill the man, right? I would have given you even more. Why did you despise the word of the Lord by doing what is evil in his eyes? You struck down Uriah the Hittite with a sword and took his wife to be your own. You killed him with the sword of the Amorites. Now therefore the sword will never depart from your house, because you despised me and took the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your own. Well, here, this is what the Lord says, out of your own household I'm going to bring calamity on you. Before your very eyes I will take your wives and give them to one who is close to you, and he will sleep with your wives in broad daylight. You did this in secret, but I will do this thing in broad daylight before the Israel. His son, I think, gonna sleep with his wife and all that. But the part I'm trying to get to. Then David said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. Nathan replied, the Lord has taken away your sin. You are not going to die. You're not going to die. But because you do this, you have shown utter contempt for the Lord. The son you bore, the son that she get pregnant with, the Lord said, I'm going to kill the boy. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. That's part of your punishment. I can kill him, right? So, but here what I'm trying to get to, I just set the stage of it. Trying to get to, David went to a fast because God said, I'm going to kill the boy. He went to a fast thinking he could change God's mind. Long story short, right? After Nathan had gone home, the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife had born to David, and he became ill. David pleaded with God for the child. He fasted. He went on a fast, right? So why you wonder why your fast not working? This is not a part of God's will. God said, I can kill the child. It's not a part of the will. You get the child in wickedness. I'm going to take that out. That's not a part of the plan, right? But he went on a fast. He fasted and spent the night lying in sackcloth on the ground. The elders of the household stood beside him to get him up from the ground, but he refused, and he would not eat any food with them. On the 7th day, the child died. Right, I ain't going long. The child died. Long story short, he did not get his answer. He fasted thinking he can change God's mind. But he got a no on his fast. So I'm trying to say, people are going to ask why my fast is not working. Number one, you got to ask for stuff in what's God's will. Right? What for John 5:14 saying, this is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us according to his will. But you could go on and do things that not according to his will, And you can struggle, you can punish, you can be frustrated, even though you might got this big job giving you a lot of money. You're still struggling, you're frustrated. You don't got time for your family, nothing. Instead of the job lift you up, it tearing you down. Because of the job or because of whatever, you might left a lonely man. Or you stress yourself out so much to death. Or you're going to buy the house that you didn't ask God to, if it's according to His will for you. Next thing you know, you're in a haunted house. Next thing you know, your mortgage too much. Next thing you know, all kind of stuff. And you're not enjoying the house where you're supposed to enjoy, or you're gone with a mate. You're telling God, this is what I wanted, and you gone and marry somebody. Next thing you know, you put yourself in all kind of trouble. But see, if we fast and put it to Him and ask Him if the cards say His will, sometimes we might get a no. And we got to be okay with the no that we get. We got to be okay with it because it's not a part of His will. It's what we want and not what He has for us. So guys, I know I went on a little long today, but I'm going to stop here while we can pick it up, and we can go into some other stuff concerning this end of year fast. I just want to prep us, get our mind clear, know what we need to do before we go into it. People who listen to me often know this time of the year, this is what I do. I promote this because it brings so much a change in my life. Brings so much a change in my life. Like I said, you don't have to fast at the end of the year. You can fast anytime during the year, but because at the end of the year, people have these New Year's resolution and start afresh. This is a good time to promote it. You can start the year and set the course for the year, for your life, on the right track, according to God's plan for your life for that year. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave that there. Have a great, great day, and we'll talk again on today's Friday, on Monday. Have a great day. Goodbye. It's Tracy Hamer. How are you doing today?